I'll usually first go to the new arrivals, just because they'll have like I don't know, almost always they'll have good stuff. But uh, I'm really big into indie rock. I'd say that's my primary genre, which is like a very broad genre now. Um, and so I will like usually have like one or two bands in mind that I would like to pick up a record from whenever I actually go to a record store. And so yeah, I'll check out like those one or two bands after I do the new arrivals. Just like I love to just like kind of browse and like not have too much of an agenda whenever I go to a record store because I know what I want to spend money. Um, and yeah, that's something that always comes to me.
If I may start things out on a bit of a personal note, Savannah isn't exactly the friendliest home for the art school dirtbag crowd. Sure, it is home to said art school, but socially speaking, you're often left to your own devices. Gathering places and other sacred grounds are often left to the individual as to the hows and wheres of finding them. And that, dear viewer, is where strong camaraderies latent to the small town record store come into the picture.
I've always told people if Gray Face Records wasn't here, I would have dropped out and moved out a long time ago. It's definitely the record collecting scene here is a very, very good one. Back home in Houston, it's not as tight knit as it is here, considering as we only have, a few record stores in town, and only one of them really fosters this community of, collection and, hoarding that I like to partake in.
Yeah. And they call me an old man, but I just don't trust like digital libraries, digital, fixed to digital. Like I don't know. And I have a lot of different genres. Kind of a little bit of everything. My taste in music has definitely grown since like getting older and like getting into vinyl. Just like going to record stores and like discovering new music and I don't know. I feel like it's easier to discover new music when it's physical rather than digital. Well, that's the whole like vinyl versus digital debate and like debacle is that like the listening to digital it just feels everything feels so upfront, like everything's like equally leveled and balanced. I would say, as to like when you're listening to it on vinyl, you can like feel the layers and like I don't know, it's something that's hard to like put words to exactly. You have to more like feel out the comparison for yourself and like get what I mean. The layers the layers of the recording process, they're more distinct when listening to vinyl. It's usually so the way it works for me is not the traditional model. So considering I work at a record store, I usually am the first to see the first that come in, the first records that come in. I usually am the one that files them away where they go, so I get a good, broad look at everything that comes in. So lately it's been whatever catches my eye as I'm unloading boxes, I will always get. Even beforehand, it would be also, I don't go in looking for a particular release unless it's something that had just come out.
While it wasn't exactly where I found a lot of my friends, it's what kept a lot of those connections going. Spending entire afternoons thumbing through crates of old Neil Diamonds, Linda Ronstadts, and other faded obscurities, in the hopes of stumbling upon, say, a Big Star or a Steely Dan, proves to be many a perfect opportunity for facilitating conversation.
It's more of a niche thing now as opposed to something that everyone partakes in, but I don't think, to me it doesn't matter. I do both. If you want to be a real music fan, I'm about to gatekeep so hard right here.
Look, I'm not judging.
If you want to be a true music fan or a true supporter of a band, I would buy vinyl because a lot of the money that comes out of, you giving your money for a physical release goes directly to the band. So I think it matters in that way, in support. And also because I like the way it sounds. One of my favorite things to do, and I've been doing this ever since I started collecting, is, every time I get a new record, I like pulling out all the inserts and reading through the lyrics while I listen. It makes me feel more connected with what I'm listening to, especially being able to hold, the jacket and sleeve, look at the lyrics, all not on a screen, essentially. First and foremost, being a big music fan at an early age, I wanted more than just going to shows and listening to a band on Spotify. I liked being able to support, artists that I enjoyed in a pretty direct way. I figured that, through vinyl and buying merch like shirts and flags, it's a good way to support and, help build that community up.
If you're really into music as a hobby, I'd say into vinyl. It's a good hobby for sure. It's an expensive one, but it's definitely worth it. And it's I don't know, it takes the listening experience to the next level, which is it sounds cheesy, but I feel like it's true.
In the end, though we may just be a small gathering of idealistic young scoundrels walking and talking like jaded old men, there's still a truth and a dignity to the act of record collecting. Music itself may be intangible and ephemeral, but the memories we associate with it cut deep, and they're worth keeping around in any physical capacity. All in all, just gotta keep hanging on to them southern grooves.